Welcome to our podcast session on training your brain to speak in English. Today we're diving into how, by listening and repetition, you can start thinking directly in English, not just translating in your head.
That's intriguing. Can you elaborate on what exactly training your brain involves?
Sure, it's like conditioning a muscle. The idea is simple. The more you listen to English, the more your brain starts processing it automatically. So by consistently practicing through listening exercises and even speaking to yourself, your brain shifts into English mode.
So it's like building up endurance. You keep at it and eventually it just clicks?
Exactly. It's like repeating a drill over and over until it becomes second nature. When you listen every day, you also start associating everyday objects with the English words, like naming things around you: chair, window, phone.
I get that. It reminds me a bit of muscle training in the gym. But what about the habit of translating from your native language to English? Doesn't that slow you down?
Right, that's a common hurdle. Instead of translating, you should try to think directly in English. It's like your mind stops pausing to convert words and just the words flow naturally.
Yeah, but isn't some translation inevitable in the beginning? I mean, when you're learning something new, wouldn't you translate sometimes?
That's a fair point, and yes, at first translation might sneak in. But over time, by continuously exposing yourself to spoken English and by practicing self-talk, like saying I'm making coffee or I'm walking to work, your brain starts connecting actions directly with English words, bypassing the translation step.
Interesting approach. So essentially, you're turning everyday actions into language lessons.
Yes, exactly. For example, if you're sitting at your desk, name what you see in English. It sounds simple, but it builds a direct mental link between the object and its English name.
Right. And that constant repetition is what ultimately reinforces the language in your brain.
Absolutely. And not only does it give you more vocabulary, but it also builds the muscle memory of thinking in English, so you don't have to pause and translate from your native tongue.
Yeah. Speaking of repetition, do you think it matters if you practice alone versus practicing with others?
Both are valuable. Speaking out loud to yourself, especially when you're alone, is a low-pressure way to practice. It's kind of like rehearsing in a safe space where mistakes are expected, and they actually help you improve.
I do wonder though, could practicing alone sometimes reinforce errors since there's no immediate feedback?
I see what you mean, and it can be a risk. However, think of it like playing a musical instrument by yourself. Even if you hit a few wrong notes, you learn the correct melody over time. In addition, combining solitary practice with periodic conversations with native speakers or tutors can balance that out.
Yeah, that makes sense. It sounds like the key is consistency. Practicing every day in various ways to build a natural command of the language.
Exactly. Consistency is absolutely paramount. Every day, whether you're listening to a podcast, watching a show, or even just naming things around you, you're training your brain to process English more efficiently.
Yep. Can you give us an example of a daily routine you'd recommend?
Sure thing. I'd say start with about 15 to 20 minutes of listening practice, maybe a podcast like this one or an audiobook. Then, while you go about your day, try to describe your actions in English, like I'm brushing my teeth or I'm preparing my lunch. Over time, these little bursts make a big difference.
That's really neat. And what about the anxiety of making mistakes? A lot of people are afraid of sounding silly.
Great question. Embracing mistakes is crucial. Every error is just a step on the learning journey. Think of it as small bumps on a road. They help you learn how to steer better next time. Plus, by practicing alone, you can experiment with words without the fear of being judged.
Right. It's almost like reshaping your mindset. Instead of seeing mistakes as failures, view them as valuable feedback.
Exactly. And that shift in mindset is what accelerates your using English, making it feel more natural.
Absolutely. Now, what about the listening component? Sometimes English can sound really fast for learners.
Oh, for sure. Listening practice is like tuning your ear. At first, you might feel overwhelmed, but gradually, with repeated exposure, You'll start catching the rhythm and intonation of English. It's like learning to dance with the language.
Yeah, that's a cool analogy. So by immersing yourself, you'll eventually understand even rapid speech better.
Precisely. And mixing up different types of content, podcasts, movies, conversations, can expose you to various accents and speeds, which is super helpful.
I also love the idea of using your environment as part of the lesson. It's so practical. You're not confined to a textbook.
Yes, it's like, turning your whole day into an English class. Every object, every action becomes a learning opportunity. Whether you're at home or out for a walk, speak to yourself in English as much as possible.
Right. And I guess this method helps reduce the reliance on back and forth translation and actually primes your brain to think in the language.
Exactly. And that's the long-term goal. Constant immersion makes English feel less like a foreign language and more like a natural, everyday tool.
Yeah. What about people who might not have access to native speakers? How can they cultivate this practice?
That's a great point. When live practice isn't available, technology is a lifesaver. There are tons of podcasts, audiobooks, and even online conversation groups where you can practice. It's like having a digital buddy that's always ready to help you refine your English skills.
That's encouraging. It really demonstrates that with dedication and creative use of resources, anyone can overcome language barriers.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to note that the beauty of this approach is that progress happens bit by bit. Even on days when you're not feeling your best, a little listening practice or self-talk goes a long way.
I appreciate how this method addresses the fear of failure while building confidence. But I'm curious, do you think there's any drawback to overly repetitive practice without interaction?
That's a valid critique. Solely relying on solitary practice can sometimes limit exposure to spontaneous conversation dynamics. So it's best to mix it up. While you should indeed talk to yourself to build fluency, engaging with others provides real-time feedback that can refine your language skills even further.
Yeah, that balance seems essential. Too much of one method might not cover all aspects of communication.
Exactly. Like practicing scales on a piano and then playing a song. Both are important. Incorporate listening, self-practice, and then conversation when possible, and you get a well-rounded skill set.
Before we wrap up, any final tips for those eager to naturally integrate English into their daily routines?
Sure. The mantra is simple. Listen, repeat, think, and speak every day. Don't stress about being perfect, because the natural flow will come with time. Also, keep a journal or even voice memos of your self-talk. It can be really encouraging to hear your own progress over time.
Right. That's such practical advice. It's like crafting your own little English ecosystem, where every part of your day feeds into your language learning.
Exactly, and once that ecosystem is in motion, you'll notice a major shift. You'll start thinking in English without even trying. It's both empowering and fun.
Yeah, this has been an engaging dive into how we can rewire our minds to speak English naturally. I feel more motivated to practice daily now.
Me too. Remember, every little repetition and every mistake builds up your fluency. So keep at it, engage with your environment, and have fun with the process. Thanks for joining in on this conversation.
Absolutely. Keep practicing and share your experiences. We love hearing from you all. See you next time.